In our next panel discussion, we'll explore how AI is empowering brands to make data-driven decisions that elevate the customer experience. On our panel, we have Michelle Chan, General Manager Digital Business at DCH Motors. Michelle has more than 15 years of business management experience in technology-empowered industry transformation, including the telecom, financial, and automobile industries, with extended exposure worldwide. Also joining us is Sumit Gupta, Director JPAC at Emplifi. Among his many accomplishments, Sumit has extensive experience working with CMOs and marketing teams, helping them decide on their marketing automation strategy. Rounding out our panel, we have Wilson Wong, Marketing Director at Price.com. In addition to his 3 years managing marketing for Price.com, Wilson has extensive client and agency experience with companies including the Asian General Chamber of New Retail, ESD Services, X-Social Group, PhD, and OMD Hong Kong. And here to keep the discussion sharp and lively, I'd like to welcome back Jeannie Lam to moderate this session. Let's give a warm welcome to our panelists.
I'm so honored to be the moderator today. And with the session of harnessing AI, leveraging brand potential and power. So today we are very honored to have a panelist here with a rich experience to share about like how they use the AI to elevate the brands and help the business growth. So shall we kickstart with a roundtable of introduction that everyone know who you are, where you're from, and then as well as your company, any key AI developments moving forward. So let's start with Wilson first.
Hello everyone. My name is Wilson. I'm currently the marketing director of price.com.hk. Anyone visited price.com.hk before doing shopping? Thank you very much. Anyone downloaded our app? Thank you. Actually, we are a platform connecting the retailers and the consumers. So actually, currently my role is in charge of marketing and the e-commerce business. So in other words, we keep helping retailers to generate transactions, including both online and offline. So and we did some AI. We did some have AI ideas, and we did. I mean, we are still a primary student on AI application, but anyway, we had to start. So happy to see you guys today.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is a session post-coffee. I hope everyone is wide awake. I'm Sumit Gupta. I lead the sales practice for Emplifi. I'm not sure if you've heard about Emplifi/Social Bakers. We run social. Right. So if you're seeing some really nice posts coming out of a lot of brands, the chances are it's coming out through an Emplifi platform. The chances are very big. I'm super happy to be in the wonderful city again. I love Hong Kong. I love being here again and again. I come with about 20 years of digital marketing experience. I've worked right through organizations like IBM, SAP, Oracle, essentially helping marketers to see how they can really maximize potential of marketing. And I've seen marketing evolving as my career has grown, starting from where it was and where it is. It's a big, massive jump, right? So essentially, I'm here to talk about it. I'm here to talk about and understand, more of what's happening in the region and how we can support. But that's essentially me. Very happy to, talk, discuss, reach out once now and after the session as well. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Michelle from DCH Motor, responsible for the newly built digital business unit. So actually, the team is really new. So my responsibility mainly is to take care of the loyalty platform within DCH Motor, a little bit about CRM, but also a little bit about e-commerce. Apart from that, I'm also responsible for building the whole new business platform over the digital world to connect our customer, connect our ecosystem partner, as well as our different DCH Motor stakeholder together over the platform to set up the whole new ecosystem.
Thank you. So for the first question, maybe the follow-up question to Wilson first. So just now you mentioned that, you're still primary level of AI, but I do believe from our conversation that there is so much planning in place for price.com. So could you share more about what's actually you're planning for, and what do you think that these kind of AI initiative can enhance over customer experience or add value?
Sure. At least these are not confidential, so no worries. Actually, our platform, we got a lot of data. We got the browsing data from the consumers because you guys do price comparisons, and we got the transaction data. We got your mobile phone, we got your images, we got your transaction amount, we got your lot of things. Actually, we got a lot of data, and also we have the in-house established chatbot. So we have an instant messenger. So for consumers, you guys can do conversation with the retailers. So you can ask them whether the price is correct or not. Do I have my favorite color? So actually, you guys can do chit chat with the sellers. The suppliers. So in order to make good use of these, data, we do a lot of forecasting. So our IT, our tech people, then trying to do a lot of forecasting. So because we base on some data from your browsing, from your app usage, from your transaction. So we try to forecast which segment you are. Maybe you search for television. Maybe you also search for air conditioners. So it seems that you are going to move your flat, or you're going to rent a new flat recently. So actually, sometimes we do a lot of labelings. So that's why we will do some audience targeting things, and also we will include some shopping tips just appear in the conversation, for the IM. So maybe when you ask something from the supplier, some key message, they will coming out, but they are not inside your conversation, but trying to something shopping tips. So we try to do these kind of things. So I think we are doing in a, beginner way. We have not yet cooperate with some outsider for these kind of things. But our parent company is a tech company, so that's why we have a lot of IT people. Some people in Hong Kong, some IT guy, they are from Shenzhen, Nanshan. So that's why we try to do these kind of things. But we're still testing the effectiveness. Having AI. For me, I think we have two directions. One direction is saving cost, to be honest. Another direction is generating more revenue. Saving cost is more making sense or straightforward. But whether AI application could really generating extra revenues or not, it is a key topic. We're still testing this revenue model.
Thank you. I think it sounds very powerful. And to Michelle, I think the next question is, it's very, industry is very interesting industry. So for Hong Kong, actually, it's, we're a very small city and very easy to access with public transportation, but still a very high demand for the car. And then there's a lot of needs there. So what do you think? How do you implement AI to personalize the customer experience?
Well, thanks for the question. Indeed, I have to clarify. Our customer actually have two groups, both internal and external, and then both 2B and 2C. So to answer your question, I can quote some example we have developed last year when I actually assumed in another role within DCH Motor. We do have a fleet maintenance process automation system deployed, which is self-developed. Of course, there is some AI element within, so we can actually enable a lot of automation and transform a very human-oriented car maintenance business into a little bit more automated and a little bit more digitalized business platform. That's a B2B, mainly for internal user, and also a connection to between the DCH service maintenance team as well as to our subcontractor. And then another example about AI deployment into the motor industry, instead of what you questioned about how we tailor the customer journey for external customer. I guess it is something to boost the internal operation efficiency. It's about the body maintenance. Car body maintenance scan. That is some sort of automation helping the surface repairing staff to recognize some obvious problem of the car, how much the end user actually might need to invest in order to do some actually quick fixing and some more sophisticated repairing. That's again some tools we have deployed. We have actually won several rounds of proof of concept pilot internally to test whether or not we can actually deploy it into the market commercially. But that's mainly an internal process automation.
Look forward. So the next question is to Sumit. So I think for Emplifi, it's from vendor perspective. You meet a lot of industry leaders. So how do you feel like AI transformation, marketing strategy, and enhanced customer engagement in this year to come?
Thank you. Thanks for that question. So yeah, you're right. I meet a lot of marketers and leaders in the practice. I've seen this evolving in the last 20 years, to be very honest. I remember days when marketers were super happy they got a toy called CRM, which could have all customer data in. They're like, wow, now we can do a lot more, right? And then eventually that became like, everyone needs it. What's beyond? Then marketers start thinking about segment-based marketing, one-to-one marketing. And then it became a little bit more complex. Marketers started thinking about moving from a periodic marketing to a more real-time marketing, right? Things became even more interesting when there were too many channels to talk about. It was not about a simple email. It became hundreds of channels to look at, right? That is when things started evolving, and then marketers and technology companies realized it is not a simple rule-based mechanism that will work, right? You need things beyond, right? The last thing which really hit hard was massive amount of unstructured and social data getting generated. Today, if you have a problem with a brand, what do? Do you really go and call the brand? I don't, First thing I'm going to do is I'll write on their social handle and it gets the best result, right? And it's not just about it. If I have to buy a product, what do? I check what are others talking about it on social media, on everywhere else I can, right? So that's massive amount of data being generated every day. How do I make sense out of it? That is where marketers started thinking a lot more and technology companies started supporting. So as you rightly said, from a vendor point of view, what keeps me awake? What keeps me awake is essentially how can we make it more easier and more meaningful for our customers? When we're talking about a lot of data, unstructured, on social, in multiple languages, and not even a language, it could be Singlish and multiple other lingos, right, which people don't understand. How can technology make it easier? Right? That's where AI started evolving. And I can give you a lot of examples, How do you simply make sense of a statement which is not pure English, but there are multiple languages in it? Is it a positive sentiment or a negative sentiment? Right? How do you make sense out of it? How do you respond to it? These are very simple use cases, right? As a marketer, what content will work on social channels? What will not work? Can you predict? And moving from predictive to prescriptive, can I prescribe what will definitely work? That is where companies are evolving. That is where we are trying to take our customers to. Does it mean you don't need humans? You definitely need. Just that you're making them more intelligent. You're making their tasks more easier. You're giving them access to solutions which will give you the power of making marketing look simple but much more effective. You can predict outcomes. You can prescribe the right kind of content. This is essentially where we are seeing the industry going. And it's not just, social is just one channel, right? And within social, there are like tens of platforms. What does work? Probably your LinkedIn might not work in Hong Kong. It might work in Singapore. I don't know. But how do you know? Right? Getting the right kind of data sets. So that's essentially where I see AI right now already being very effective, but moving the next 1 year is going to explode. I can 100% guarantee, it'll be very difficult to say what content is AI driven, what content is natural or real, what text is AI driven, what text is real, how are brands interacting with their customers? Is it AI or is it actually a human sitting behind? And that's the whole idea, you want to make it look as seamless as possible, right? As human as possible. So what I would probably conclude, and I don't want to really extend this long, but what I would really want to conclude is that, it's AI is not just an add-on. It is the way things will move going forward, and we are just seeing a start. we will see things becoming more and more natural, more and more, embedded into all we do, all our interactions. It will just become more and more natural going forward.
Yeah, I think right now in the room, even myself, is still a beginner of the AI, about AI. So, well, right now there's a lot of people like talking about artificial intelligence, and it become the game changers to how brands interact with the customer. So I believe there's not just maybe like myself or maybe the brands that will be, possible to face a lot of hurdles or challenges. So maybe I think from Wilson first, you can start sharing, like, what do you see the potential challenge when you planning to implement your AI dream, and how were you planning to, overcome this, or any blockers?
Okay, there are too many blockers. First of all, I think we have three, personally, not on behalf of my company. We have three. Number one, we do not have enough, sufficient knowledge. Yep, to be very honest, as a marketers, we are, personally, I'm not a tech guy. So when we are talking about AI, so it seems that we can learn from those YouTubers. There are lots of AI applications. We can learn those from those videos, image to image, image to videos, and you need to have a lot of props in order to get some, returns. It seems that it is learnable, I would say. But, for a company or a brand or a platform, if you really want to initiate something with AI, actually, as a users, because likely the business or marketer are the users, when we need to talk with, technology people, actually marketers always, we do not have sufficient of tech knowledge. So I think the first difficulty is that. And the second one, it seems that in the market, we cannot see a lot of showcase from the same industry, which is well proof that using AI could help you to make more money. If there are lots of examples that for marketers, we can easily to propose to the management. You see, my competitors, anyone from Hong Kong TV Mall here? You see that? Example, our top leaders, Hong Kong TV Mall is the number one marketplace in Hong Kong. They are making good use of AI. Then they earn a lot. You see their financial report. You can see they highlight lots of things that AI is definitely the future. As a followers, not the big place in the market, we will definitely follow. It seems that not many successful example, they can really show that using AI can really help you to make money in short term. So I think these two would be the main difficulties for my role at this moment. Yep.
Okay, so maybe then Sumit?
Well, I'll probably ask a small question if you don't mind, People of my age, I know I'm a little old, but if I have to find an answer, what do? I'll Google it, right? What are baby boomers doing? What are millennials doing? Can you guess? Any guess? No? Sorry? I can't hear it.
ChatGPT.
Yes. So there are three important things that are happening, I'll tell you. First is, of course, they ask ChatGPT, which gives the same answer to everyone. So one thing which is very important that's happening, they TikTok it. What does it mean? If I'm looking for an answer of how to make a pancake, I'll not do a Google anymore. I'll do a TikTok. Right? What does it mean? It means that buying behaviors are changing. And when people ask questions of how do I make a pancake to a TikTok, TikTok is not just telling them how to make a pancake. TikTok will sell 20 brands. Right? That is how I see engagements moving. And when TikTok does it, it's not just TikTok who will do. Instagram will do the same thing. Google is doing the same thing, by the way. You try Googling today, it'll give you videos, suggestions. This is how technology needs to evolve. It's not just technology. It's human behaviors that lead technology to evolve, right? And that's, again, it sounds very simple, but again, AI plays a very critical role. Who are you? What are the type of questions you ask? What are your buying preferences? What time of the day it is? And based on multiple such algorithms, it will suggest. And then it changes, it's not one size that fits all. A auto brand will have a very different approach. Maybe videos work really well. For a price.com, it may not. Maybe reels work very well. How do I know? he rightly said, he doesn't have data. He doesn't have answers to all the questions. How will you? Right? That is where technology comes. That is where AI comes and tries answering your questions in a more human way. It'll just prescribe and tell, what, when you're building a community, maybe try a TikTok video, it works better. When you're trying to sell a product, maybe an Instagram store works better. Or it could be your commerce store as well, no problem. Just that you need to have the right questions. Right. So what I would probably, say that what I'm seeing as a trend is that things are evolving faster than we thought. We don't know where things are, but the brands who are trying to get the pulse of how market is moving will always have an upper hand. Right. And we as a brand, as an Emplifi, we evolve every month. We've got so many new updates happening every month, which used to be 3 months earlier, because we can't afford it to be 3 months anymore. Right. Things move so fast.
Michelle?
Yeah, to me, the difficulty in rolling out AI within a relatively traditional industry, actually on two sides. One actually is about the culture, how ready is the staff, how ready is our frontline or back-end staff actually willing to use the technology, how creative, how open, or they be able to adapt their new workflow out from the AI-enabled technology. Because I talk about a lot of automation we have done last year. We created tools, but then how we can nurture the culture about our client, our staff, and also our business partner, also being able and open to use the new workflow over a new technology, which obviously, if they adapt to it, can actually help them to boost their productivity. But they have to be open at the very first step. So how to nurture such a culture is one thing we have to face. And that's why DCH Motor, in the last 6 months, actually do a lot of cultural education. We run a lot of workshop, a lot of training, a lot of sharing. We build a lot of internal communication channel. We try to share everybody of us, from HR to frontline to even our digital team, also share some of the articles, some of the latest trend, how different industry can use the new technology to actually make impact into their own role, into their own business operation. So this is one side for how we tackle the cultural challenge about deploying new technology, including AI. But another very practical obstacle or challenge we are facing is about the data. As Sumit has just mentioned, how we can get the data prepared, how we cleanse the data to make sure it can be used and train the AI. We build a lot of algorithm, but then how we fit the algorithm with the data and how ready we can turn all those legacy data into digital ready to make it work to the new system. So basically, these are the two main challenges we have been faced in the last year, at least when I joined DCH, and when we are considering to roll out a new digital platform and also deploy more and more digital solution that we have to tackle at this moment.
Thanks for sharing. So a follow-up question to Sumit. So, just now we mentioned what the panelists here sharing is about, the challenge, the hurdles that we face in Hong Kong. So while you are also tap into JPEG markets, so could you share more, what's the differences you see, the challenge that between Hong Kong and other market?
Yeah, it's surprisingly, it's very different. You cross the borders just like an hour of flight and things are so different. And I'll give you live examples, right? If you go to Philippines, what works best? A Viber-based marketing works best. You cross over to Indonesia, WhatsApp still works best. WhatsApp and Facebook are still ruling, right? So every country has their own challenges. There are countries where language is an obstacle. It's just one language that has to be there. And in other countries, it's about platforms. From a commerce point of view, from a sales and marketing perspective, I think the challenges become even more critical, right? When you start looking at different organizations in different countries, marketers needs to adapt not just within the country, but best practices from outside the other countries as well, right? And they need to adapt in the very localized culture, which makes it even more interesting. For example, I don't know a lot about Hong Kong market, but it's a relatively smaller market, but very vibrant, right? So how do you make sure of course, first, what you're doing, you do it right. And how do you adapt best practices from a market which has done something similar 5 years back? Right. That is where marketers are trying to do right now. Learn from markets which are more mature, have already done it, and how do you take your customers to that extent? And I'll give you very simple examples. How much do you want to wait for a taxi in Hong Kong today? What is the time that you will give a taxi to arrive? 3 minutes? 2 minutes? 5 max? Right? In Manila, it'll probably take an hour. Right? And how does it drive customers' behavior? Because that is the speed of execution they are expecting everything. Right? Someone told me this, that the last best experience any customer had with a brand is the minimum they expect going forward. So customers are spoiled for choices, 100%. But in every country, it's very different. There are service-driven economies. You go to India, your grocery delivery happens in 10 minutes. It's a service-driven economy. You go to Singapore, it's a smaller market, but it takes 2 hours. And customers are fine. Right, so every place will have a little bit of a different challenge. The whole idea is that how can tech, of course, and AI enabled, can support answering your questions which are required to give that treatment to your customers. How do you decide between a 10-minute versus 2 hours what is more optimal for you? Because, of course, it takes a lot of cost. Right, but what is more optimal for you? How do you decide? That is where tech, I would suggest, comes in.
Thank you. So the next question is to all the panelists. Is this non-business related? So while Procreate CEO James mentioned that actually AI, they feel they're against, or they don't believe that they will implement the AI to their technology or the products because they feel like creative is created but not generated. So what do you think about AI impact for the marketers' creativities? So maybe we start from Wilson first.
Okay. Actually, it happens within our company. Actually, we got a YouTube channels. So actually, we got a teams of producers, videographers, editors, anchors. They keep producing videos so that you guys can subscribe to our price.com.hk YouTube channel. Actually, it's about creativity because they're content guy. So there are lots of professional videographers or designers. Actually, they're quite, against those AI applications because you know that if you are really a professional in Adobe Premiere or Photoshop or lots of Illustrator, so actually these are the things you are really with your potential or your ability or capability there. But if as a marketer, if I say that actually we are outsider, but we can make good use of a lot of AI applications, which we can easily use in the market to be we can also do design, we can also do video, we can also do a poster. So with less cost, it seems that it may sometimes against their interest of conflicts. So I would say that it depends. We have two sides. One half of our colleagues, or maybe sometimes we think that for creativity we need to respect of those creativity. So try not to use a lot of AI. But on the other side, as a marketing people, anyone you are marketers, you always need times. You need to waste time. Waste a lot of time from another department to do some simple things for you guys, just like a poster, just a banners with size. These are the things that are quite easy. But for marketers, we always think that with one button, we can easily have a lot of output. So as a marketer, sometimes I would say that I would think that AI can improve the creativity, but for designer, they would think that we need to respect, with creativity, try not to do AI. So that's my feeling, experience.
Amit?
Sorry, one more story. We work with one of the largest e-commerce brand in Singapore. Same question asked, hey, what do you think when you're running social campaigns? Should we use AI-based images or should we use real images, real people in the images? What works more? Influencers, it could be anyone, what works more? And they eventually went with Ronaldo. That's a different story. I had no answer. I said, I don't know, right? No one knows it. But the good part is let's test it out, right? Let's run 5 campaigns, have different kind of creatives, some AI-driven, some, original, and let's see what works. Any ideas? Hands down, the real images won. Hands down. And time and again. And again, I'm not saying it will happen for everyone, I'm just giving an example. For that brand, for the kind of campaigns they were running, the results were very different. Right? It may be completely opposite for your brand. But the point is, how do you know? Right. And then eventually moved with, bringing in Ronaldo, who doing all that stuff. And they've been very, very successful in the market. Can you guess what works today for most of the brands? What wins hands down for most of the brands today? Let me answer that. One content which I'm 100% sure wins every time is authentic user-generated content. When people talk about your brand, that's the max impactful campaign you can run. That drives your engagements, that drives your conversions. What do you want? You eventually want to have better results from your campaigns, right? Authentic user-generated campaigns has been the clear winner. Now, bringing back to your question around, what I see happening in the future, I see this merging more and more. The line will get more blurred. You will not be able to differentiate if it's an AI-generated content or if it's a real content. That's where the industry is moving. Good or bad is debatable, 100%, right? But that's what's going to happen. In the next very short time, you will see things merging more and more to an extent where brands will have the flexibility to do it in the click of a button.
Michelle?
So I would take actually more macro view about how the technology being deployed. So I echo what Wilson mentioned. It depends on how we deploy the technology. If we deploy it into with an objective to boost the productivity, then it could be something helpful to everybody working in the office. But if we actually put more focus on the creativity required to create a use case for the technology deployment, then actually it helps. And the ownership of creativity is still on humans' hand. It's still the marketer's decision. It's still our decision where to deploy the technology and how we deploy the technology, so we be able to value add to our workflow, to the productivity, and to the business, and even to the customer journey.
I think how this is very important, how to use the technology to help your daily life, to increase your product efficiency and also be save more manpower in the future. So to wrapping up our conversation, so first of all, thank you for all the fruitful sharing and your insight. Could you maybe share some advice to all of us if maybe there's just beginner of tapping into AI, and what would be the next step? And what is your advice? So maybe Wilson first.
Okay. To be honest, I am quite confused about AI because it is very new. But I always think that if one new thing comes, actually as a youngster, sorry to tell you that I'm 40, but I'm still young. I try my best to be young then. It is one opportunity for those youngs to make good use of that new opportunities. For example, one example is that anyone bought Bitcoin before? Yep. It seems that 10 years ago, someone asked me to be the early adopter to buy. To increase my knowledge on these kind of things, but I just try to escape from this new trend. But I'm very regret now. Actually, so that's why AI is another new things. No matter you like it or not. Actually, I think the new generation, those youngs, it is a really, really crazy weapon that they can make good use of to replace, a comparatively old guys. So actually, for marketers, I think that the earlier we marketers can learn or can adopt, the better productivity we can do. So try to really follow those YouTubers to try a lot of platform, to do a lot of AI things by your hand. Maybe I need to spend extra time. Actually, I force myself to maybe spend 15 minutes a day to watch those YouTubers to introduce those AI applications. So at least it is just one little step, but at least it is towards the correct direction. So I hope marketers, everyone like us, try to learn AI application earlier. Yep.
Sumit?
Just two things here. Challenge it, right? If you don't think it's working out, challenge it as much as you can. and then embrace it, right? I don't think there is any other way out, right? The market will move towards AI, we like it or not, right? What I would really suggest is, have a problem statement, right? I want to do this, and it could be I want to design one of the best content in the world, right? Or it could be anything. I want to answer my customers' questions in the most efficient manner. Could be anything, right? Have a problem statement. And there are so many free tools available in the market right now. You don't even need to go through any paid subscription. There are so many free tools available which can do things for you. Start with that. See how it works for you. Challenge it. See what is not working for you. Improvise. I'm telling you, you do it for 6 months, you'll be an expert already into it. You will start loving it. And I've done that in the last 1 year. That's what I'm telling you. I pick up a problem statement. I want to make sure that my ugly photos look better. And then I've been fairly successful.
Michelle?
So AI to me is a piece of technology. So the most important is about the mindset. Once the mindset is right, I think the rest can't be wrong.